innovators and creators to be responsive to society and consumer needs. The dissemination of ideas, knowledge, and information necessary to stimulate creation and innovation is encouraged by intellectual property rights, especially patents and copyrights.
मैंने मेरे को पानी दिया तो मैंने अपना
कैसे पता कैसे करो इसमें तो सुनो ना
मैं
I
कैसे
request everyone to please unmute. Sorry, mute. Yeah. So IFERP is one of the largest professional association on its way to digitalize innovation processes through our professional networking services and thus providing an integrated virtual scientific community, mutual engagement, exploring potential of researchers, creating a cooperative and collaborative academic environment. Moreover, more than 68,000 members, 420 universities and institutions are associated with IFERP, utilizing our services in the field of engineering, science, and technology by organizing and providing international conferences, publication assistance, research assistance and guidance, student, professional, and institutional membership aid schemes, international workshops, chapters, guest lecturers, faculty exchange program, short-term training programs, webinars, scientific conference management system, etc. IFERP collaborates with universities, institutions, organizations, and other associations to share their experience, knowledge, and researches by organizing conferences, meetings, summits, guest lecturers, and workshops. IFERP have started its dedicated journey by organizing international conferences and global standard events in different institutions, universities, and conventions to provide scope for scientific interaction in the field of engineering, science, and technology to technically budding researchers from across the world. I would like to introduce our IFERP Innovative Project Seed Funding Scheme. IFERP provides an opportunity for the students and research scholars to receive financial assistance for their innovation and innovative projects for proof of concept, prototype development, product trials, validation, market entry, and commercialization. Website link I have put in chat box. You may please go through and visit our website and apply for IFERP Innovative Project Seed Funding Scheme. Last date of application of submission is 8th May 2022. Virtual presentation for the selected participants will be done on 28th and 29th of May, and this will be a free application submission. And also note the eligibility criteria must be a student or research scholar. Now I would like to introduce our honorable speaker, Mr. Sunil Gangwani, before inviting him for the talk. Welcome, sir. Mr. Sunil Gangwani serves as Senior Manager and Secretary to the Research Advisory Council of Pandit Deendayal Energy University, India. He is an experienced strategic management professional with over 17 years of experience in strategic planning, research, innovation, and internationalization. He enjoys working hand in hand with the research and innovators community and is profoundly involved in establishing relations with corporate research and educational institutions across the globe. He is an expert in research and innovation diplomacy, instrumental in planning and executing various international events and bilateral trade delegations and playing a vital role in various international activities at PDEU in association with Indo-US Science and Technology Forum, Asian Development Bank, Japan Research Institute, European Business and Technology Center, Department of Scientific and Industrial Relations, Department of Science and Technology, and more. He led the delegations of Malaysia, Japan, and Ghana and extended the joint research activities and student and faculty exchange programs. Sunil Gangwani is a certified national trainer of Junior Chamber International JCI India. He served the organization in 2017 as Zone Vice President of Zone 7 JCI India and in 2016 as local president of JCI Gandhinagar India. In addition, he is the only JCI facilitator from India certified for all the JCI Foundation's leadership and advanced post skill development. Over the above training for JCI India, he also served as a skill development facilitator to conduct skill development courses during 2018 and 2021 JCI World Congress and 2021 JCI Asia Pacific Convention. He conducted various skill development sessions for the JCI Czech Republic, JCI Nepal, JCI Philippines, Rwanda, Tunisia, and JCI Zambia. He holds MBA and BSc Information Science from renowned institutes in Gujarat, India. Sir, now I welcome you to provide the address.
Hello. Thank you, Pooja, for the introduction and inviting me for the present is the faculty development program on the day of the World IP Day. So we all taught about the IP. We all know about the patent. We taught many things about research, innovation, and today the theme is uh, from the role of patent or the bridging the gap from the research to innovation. So let me start directly with the presentation, and then as the flows moves, we'll take the question and then yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Please
Yeah.
proceed.
Okay. Good. Let me set my screen. Just give me a moment. Okay. So is the slide visible? I hope the slide is visible to everyone.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yeah, great. So today, as the topic suggests, the intellectual property rights bridging the gap from the research to innovation. So instead of one-way presentation, will start about the interaction, and I request everyone to mute their mic, but do reply in the chat box, and wherever required, they can unmute and then they reply. So before we move, if let's start with the type of the intellectual property rights. So any what is IPR or what is intellectual property rights? You can reply in your uh, chat box. So accordingly, we'll take the session in the speed and then we'll work it out. So I request everyone, if those who know what is IPR, kindly reply in the chat box or unmute what is IPR. Any participants? Hello. Am I audible to everyone? Do reply.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yeah. So what I would like to request all the participants, since we are only 55 participants, and let's have this as the interactive session instead of the one-way delivery. So before we start, let me can anyone tell me what is IPR? What is intellectual property rights? But it's right of holding patents, copyrights, trademark, anyone else. So do reply what is IPR. Okay, it is the copyright of the product developed by a team, technology, innovation. A product patented. Okay, so what is difference between research and innovation? Second question, what is difference between research and innovation? A product patented in what is difference between research? Research is a process and innovation is not. Research is based on the fact and innovation is based on, it is also based on, research is a innovation idea, no. Okay. Okay. So in today's presentation, we'll see entire the research to the innovation and new technology, and the research also with the research also we work on the new technology. So let's see what is why today's topic, and I hope everyone is from the education or the research fraternity. Anyone here from the other than the industry? Anyone here from the other than the research or the? Oh yes. Okay. So great. Let's see the background why this topic is important in today's context and when we talk about the national and global scenario. So those who are from the academic background, they may be knowing that in 2014, Government of India became the permanent member in the Washington Accord. And what is mean by the Washington Accord? The India become the so the graduates from the various engineering institutes from India, their degree are at par with the member countries as part of the Washington Accord. So what we say NBA accreditation or NBA Tier 1 accreditation is also a part of the Washington Accord. Then in 2014, the government of India launched Made in India concept, into the Made in India mission in 2016, the Startup India in 2016. The IPR policy has been revised from the previous IPR policy to work more on the creative India and innovative India with the theme. So, this is, let me take something on the precursor that how we moved from the 2014 to the 2016. And from there, let's see how we moved from the 16 to the 21. So after the IPR policy during the COVID, we talked about the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. So we are talking more about how we can become the self-reliant country nation, and then in 2020 we talked about the new education policy, and there we are also talking about the multidisciplinary education and research universities. Then last year in 2021, the government of India, after the new education policy, also launched the fifth draft of the fifth science, technology, and innovation policy, and then also talked about the National Research Foundation or the NRF, which is brought down in the last year 21-22 budget with the outlay of around 50,000 crore rupees. So all this is the background at the global, at the national level, and with this national level focus, when we talk about the research to innovation, it is not we individually, but we have to understand the entire ecosystem. That what is the role of the research institute or the academia, what is the contribution from the government side, and what the output from the corporate. So when we then we see the global perspective, where are we in the thought about the research, innovation, what is our global innovation index. So globally, we rank as 46 in the 46 as a country in the Global Innovation Index in 2021, which is published by WIPO. And in that, if we you can see the chart that on the various sub parameters in the human capital and research, we are at 54, but in the thought about the knowledge and technology output, we are at 29. Market sophistication is 28. So we can see that market sophistication is more about the ecosystem or the business ecosystem. We are 28. When we talk about the technology and knowledge, so we know that IT India is an IT hub, and there are technology coming out of it. IT is there. So we are there on the IT outcome or the technology output as the 29th. But where there is the point and where our contribution is more required is all about the human capital and research and the creative output. So if we break down this entire the global innovation index and what is the role or the contribution from the Indian researcher community or innovation community is required, then we see that in the human capital, the contribution is the education, the tertiary education, the research and development, R&D, gross expenditure of R&D. When we talk about the knowledge and technology output, it is more about the knowledge impact and knowledge diffusion. When we talk about the creative output, it is the intangible assets like the design rights and creativity. So all this is the important factor in the global perspective. So when we talk about the national perspective, we have seen that what are the various missions and initiatives taken by the government of India. When we talk about the global perspective, it is the where we as a nation we are standing today. So now the role of each researcher, each education institute, each faculty members, each has is been important not only on the national but on the global perspective to contribute on the global innovation level. So before we move, uh, and so any questions here? Any questions here? Yes, it's good. Any guess in the we are in the top 46, but what about our R&D expenditure? We will be on what will be our the we are in top 10, top 20, top 50, top 100. We will be on which rank on the R&D expenditure globally? Any idea? Do reply on chatbots. Do reply, unmute and reply. Where are we standing as a nation in the R&D expenditure? We are 50th, 100th, under 200. Any other guess? Under 200 definitely, because there are not more than 200 countries. 140. Any other guess? We are 46 on the Global Innovation Index. Then how can our the contribution or the expenditure will be 100, 100. Any other under 50? Okay. Any other guess? What is our global R&D expenditure? Under 50. Any other guess? Okay. So now let me take you to the where are we? In the top 5. We are the top 5th in the not 100th. We are the top 5th. This is our global R&D expenditure, or maybe 4th. We contribute 96.5 billion USD, which is the 4% of our GDP as a R&D expenditure. So we spend a lot. We are in the 4th position. 4th or 5th position. And see, once it's of the US expenditure, maybe 50% less than Germany, half of Japan expenditure, but more than South Korea. More than South Korea. So what is happening if we are spending more than South Korea and maybe 20% of China? Can we compare our technology output or innovation in line with South Korea, or can we compare our innovation, the just few percent less than Germany? Can we compare it? Any responses? Kindly reply on chat box, please. Hello. So, as a rational of population, no, R&D is more about the money spent and the research output, because whatever we are contributing in terms of the money, we are not able to get the innovation back or innovation as the output. And there are two reasons behind that. One, it is not the population, it is the concentrated efforts from the various countries, while we major use the uh, we majorly use the distributed efforts, or we distribute the fund amongst the various institutions. So I think IFERP has popped up the poll. So let's I think this poll is going on. So let's have a pause for a few seconds, and everyone let's reply for the poll, and then uh, I can start my presentation. Around, yeah. So even being the fifth, let's work out how we can contribute from the research to the innovation. And when we talk about the entire value chain of the research, when we independently talk about the what is research, what is innovation, but in the when we talk about the research to innovation, it is there are different TRL levels. So there are TRL level 1. TRL is the technology readiness level. So technology readiness level 1, technology readiness level 2 to technology readiness level 9. And these 9 levels are defined on the what is the level of the readiness of the technology, and these are well defined by NASA, and then the various other institutes are using that. So today let's focus most time here when we talk about the sponsored project, or when we mostly talking about the research activities we are normally doing. Either we are developing a concept, or we are doing some testing in the, or we are doing some experiment in the lab, or whether we would like to develop, sorry, we are developing some proof of concept. So major the sponsored projects which are funded by various funding agency, the state level funding agency or the national level funding agency, are majorly in the TRL level 1, 2, or 3. And most research activity happening in the institutions across the nation, most research activities are focused on the TRL level either 2 or 3. While we taught all about the innovation, incubation center, Startup India, and other startups, and there, where even anyone goes for the innovation and incubation center, they have to know with the demonstration which can work in the real world, and then they get the funding, whether the funding is supported by the incubation center or the innovation center. And thus various funding support they normally get when they demonstrate the system, or they demonstrate the product, or they demonstrate the business capabilities. So mostly at the level 7 or the at the level 8, they grow in they grow with the innovation or incubation system, or the innovation center, or the incubation center, maybe the nodal agency for the startup India, or maybe the part of the university or the independent. So when they grow at the level 7, and then while they are launching the product, or the before product, the year where they are launching, doing the pilot testing or everything, it is a TRL 9. So it is like TRL 1, 2, 3, we did the research funding, and TRL 7, 8, 9 when we go in the market. But what is the challenge? The challenge between this proof of concept to the system development in the real world, there are challenges to improve the product, there are challenges to improve the business process, there are challenges to commercialize, or the research work out on the innovation aspects, or there are process challenges. So this lies in the TRL level 4 to the 7. So when we talk about the research funding here at the 1, 2, 3, and then when it goes to the 7, there is the gap of the TRL 4, 5 sets. So and because of this gap, whatever we are contributing at the 1, 2, 3 for the purpose of R&D, we are not able to get the expected outcome at the TRL 9. So any guesses what percentage of the research maybe ultimately translated in the technology, or the the what will be the contribution to the research coming out to the technology commercialization? What percentage? Can you estimate what will be the percentage of research maybe getting translated from the research to innovation in India perspective? 3. Any other percentage? The research to innovation, the percentage. So it is less than 0.5 percentage research to innovation get translated in India. And the global is around less than 5 percentage. So this challenge is to convert this less than 0.5 percentage to the more. If we talk about the patent to commercialization ratio, that number of patent granted and the number of patent commercialized is around 5%. So 5% is the ratio when we talk about the patent granted to the patent commercialization in India. But when we talk about the research funding to the commercialization, it is less than 0.5. And so this is the gap, and this is the gap is known as the uh, valley of death. So any question up to this point, then we can move forward, that how we can fulfill this, how we can contribute towards narrowing the gap or improving this what the crossing the valley. So when we do this, what happening that we get the research fund from the government or various funding agency, which is up to the proof of concept level. Now, when we have to go to the market, we have to validate that technology, or after that technology validated, when you have to go into the market, we have to go with the industry, and then only industry supports in case of the technology commercialization or technology transfer or work with us, when they see there is some commercial adult, and they would like to have the rights. So what happens that faculty most the time when they do the research, How many faculty, if just reply with yes, or there's some numbers, you have published the research paper. Anyone here who have published the research paper? Yes. No. Any other? Okay. So there are many papers, but now if I can ask, what is the, how many people here filed the patent? How many people have filed here the patent? Granted, and those who have the granted patent. VHG, yes for the, no. And now my question is all about the patent. No. So what is happening that we, the moment we publish the research paper, it becomes the known to the market, and then uh, anything which is already said in the market, we cannot use it to the patent, because patent is filed for the novelty. Patent can be filed for the innovation. So we cannot file the uh, patent if we have already published the paper. So the best way is to do a research, then file a patent, and then go for the publication. Now, what is happening? Instead, we are going for first for the publication. So until we'll not go for the patent first, we'll more about, will not able to file a patent if you have already published it. So let me set the, now anyone knows what are the type of IPRs? Type of IPRs? Hello. Do reply in the chat box. So we'll make it more interactive than I'll be delivering on the one side. If provisional application is filed, then after we can publish it or not? Most probably not, because once you, what happens then, if the FER comes or the examination report comes, at times they raise the question from your own publication only. That, and then it will be difficult that if you have already published, then why you would like to uh, take a patent. So it is better once the patent is published, then only we should publish the paper or the publish the article. So let's draw the so when we talk about the patent is filed in the respective country, or it is the territorial patent. So when we file the India, it is the Indian patent. When we file it in Australia, it is the Australian patent. When we file it in the US, it is the US patent. There is a complete separate session about how to file a patent, what all come under the patent. But normally in the IPR, it comes the patent, which is the product patent or the process patent. When they search for the patent, when you file a patent, when we file a patent, when they search, they will search globally that whether this innovation is new, their research is new, their invention, they all talk about the invention, and they search globally. But when they grant the rights, they grant the rights basis on our application. So if you have filed the application in the patent office in India, the rights are for the Indian. If we file the application in Australia, then rights are for the Australia. If we file the PCT, then it is as per the countries we have selected. If you file for the US, then it is the US patent. So now the question is, if there is the less 5% only, and there is less than 5% patent has been commercialized, so what to do, how to fill this gap, how to work out? So there are two ways when we talk about the left to market: the technology push. So I'm a scientist, I'm a researcher, I'm identified, doing something in the lab, and then I'm going into the market. So it is difficult for me to sell in the idea and the project to the industry. So do a reverse. I did do a relationship with the industry, understand their problem, what is the need, and do a back and forth and define a research or the industrial problem, and then from the industrial problem work on that. So instead of the technology post, work on the market pool and work on that research, do a patent filing or the process filing, product the or the product filing. So technology push will give the result, but it will take more time and it is very risky. We have seen, the 3 to going for the 7, it is risky. But when we talk about the market pool, we get the industrial problems, and when we are solving it, because it is the industrial needs it, and we have solved it, so we get the fund, we get the patent, we because nobody has sold before that, and we can go for the patent in it and the commercialize it. So when we push our technology post, it is less than 5% the success rate. But when we bring the market pool, when we bring the problem from the industry and solve it with some experience, it is around 50% success rate globally. So what is the path to commercialization? The invention, then the IP, then the market analysis, where the IP assessment to the market analysis, it is the technology commercialization who can explore it, and then the inventors, and then from the commercial strategy, we work out whether we would like to go with the startup or whether we would like to do a technology transfer, whether we would like to do a technology license. So these are the various way of doing the commercialization, and then there are various depending upon the solution, depending upon your technology and the fund or the fund or the investment required. Either you can explore the startup option or you go for the technology licenses to the multiple companies or the technology commercialization with one of the company. So this you can do. And just for the info for everyone, when we talk about the IPR, we are talking about the patent, trademark, copyright, and these some proprietary uh, trade secrets. So why this is important? Because patent protects the technology. It provides the exclusivity to the partner wherever we have license. It incentivizes the commercialization. So the faculty or the researcher who do a patent, and when the patent get commercialized, most institute do the incentive or the percentage of the commercialization to the inventor also, which is not otherwise possible in terms of when we talk about the publication. So when we publish the paper, the faculty will not get the commercialization, but when they go for the patent, they will get the incentive for the commercialization. And the overall value also get generated, which is for the larger good of the nation, for the economic system. So it is when we talk about the faculty and industry, it is the faculty exposure work with the industry people work with the faculty, and there may be a development team depending upon the various development team in the university or the research centers or the innovation and incubation center. They do a collaborative research, they develop the project, and then they go for the IP protection. Or IP means we talk about the patent, trademark, copyright, and trade secret. And based on that, the market opportunity, they can do a technology transfer, they can do a technology commercialization, and they can all work around the various aspects of the IP. So before any questions here on the technology transfer, and then we can move to the next level. Any questions from the audience? If we okay, any other people? So okay, then let me conclude this and open the floor for the interaction and more. We'll discuss for next 15-20 minutes. Then we can already 40 minutes. So this is more about my brief to initiate today's discussion, and then now let's have one-on-one question now, a question answer. Right?
So I think there is one query in chat box. Could you please address it?
Let me answer all the questions wherever possible. So which type of the patent grant is mostly available by the innovators, either process or the product? See, when we talk about the IPR, IPR is one type of IPR is the patent. Now this patent may be process patent or the product patent. Then the another IP is the design, and the third IP is the copyright. So when we let me give you an example. When we talk about this phone, the shape, size, or the look and feel is more about the design part of it. So design can also be taken as IP. When we talk about the manufacturing process, the process of manufacturing this product is taught about the process patent. But when we talk about the ultimate, the final product, it is the product patent. So innovation or the innovators are talking about everything. It is they thought about the process patent or the product patent. It is depending upon what is our innovation. Are we launching new product in the market, or are we like trying to launch the same product but with the innovative way for the industry, where they can either get the better quality, better the impact, or the less cost of the production, or the less cost of the time to manufacture the product. So innovators can take the patent depending upon the research or the market problem. Maybe a process patent, maybe a product patent, maybe a design. So what is difference between application and innovator? It is not about the so when we have to take the patent, we have to apply for it, right? Now, if this application is done by individual, then individual will be known as the applicant. But when mostly the research takes place either at the research institution, or the research is done by the industry. So there the applicant is mostly the research institute or the university is the applicant, and or the industry is the applicant, but the actual people who have worked towards those problems or the patent, though they are the inventors. So is patenting only product based? No, I already uh, answered that it is process based also, it is product based also, and it is the same process, same product, but the different design. So IP is for design, patent, and product. So can we copyright PhD work as still ongoing because some universities ask to copyright? Yes, we can go for the copyright, depending upon the institutional rights, but yes, you can go for the copyright of the PhD thesis or the work. Okay, how to generate income in the patent? So when we file the patent, that is, we have to spend some expenditure for the patent application cost and filing. But after the patent is granted, when we because it is the exclusive right to use by the national authority or the sovereign authority to the particular. So in we can generate the income by transferring that patent and giving someone to use as a commercialization, which is known as the technology commercialization. And that license we can give is as an exclusive license to someone, or the multiple license to the multiple people, or establishing a startup company based on the our IP. So that way we can generate the income based on the patent. Can software application be patented in India? We cannot directly take the software patent, but software, the as I said, we can use it is the multiple ways. So if you have developed some 2D design or 3D design, so if it is the look and feel of the software or the application, then you can take that design as the design registration, and the content you can go for the copyright registration. In India, we do not have the software patent, but in US, yes, you can go for the software patent. Can we have copyright of the book written by us, or the publisher will have? So normally the publisher take the copyright and then they transfer the royalty to you. So it is more about, if you are taking the copyright, then why the publisher will publish it? So then you have to take the copyright, and you only have to use that. You have to spend some money to publish and sell it. So what are the benefit of the inventors in patenting, especially if they introduced and used by the small scale industry? So independent of the small scale industry or the large scale industry, the patent is, there are two ways. One, the patent gives you the exclusive right to use that technology for you. And since you get that technology, and if it actually solves the market problem, then you get as a royalty or the commercialization aspects of the patent license fee from from the market or from the industry who would like to use your patent. So with that way, you can earn from the patent. I think question have stopped. I thought there may be 100 participants and 200 questions. So I made my presentation small to answer more. Or should I present something? I don't know. Any questions from the participants? What is the difference between the eco mark and the trademark? Oh, trademark is the mark which is registered for the trade purpose and not actually for based on the innovation or the research. So who can help in the patent process? Normally in the university, they have the research office, but you can communicate with them. So what is the procedure for copyright in India? Can you give your email address? Yes, let me give my email address. I have posted my email address in my chat box, and you can also follow me on my You can also follow me on my FB page and know about the research opportunities. Yes, Pooja, over to you. I think if anyone has any feedback to share or question, or the floor to Pooja.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for your valuable time and this session. I believe this FDP was very informative. On behalf of IFERP, I would like to extend my gratitude to esteemed speaker Mr. Sunil Gangwani for delivering the keynote address, and I would also like to thank all the delegates and students who have joined us today. Stay tuned with us for more updates regarding the IFERP webinar and conferences. You can download all your certificates e-certificates on our IFERP dashboard. I would also take this opportunity to announce our upcoming Scopus conferences, which is happening on May 19th, 20th, second International Conference on Advanced Computing and Communication Technology, May 21st and 22nd, International Conference on Physical Science and Technology, May 26th and 27th, fifth International Conference on Multidisciplinary Research, Studies and Education, May 28th, International Conference on Science, Technology, Engineering and Mathematics. For more details, always feel free to reach us. Thank you. Have a great evening ahead. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, sir, and thank you, madam.